Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the channel. I'm the Shotgun Shogun, and today we're going to be talking about my top 5 characters that I would like to see a specialty change for. Now, these are just my opinions based on characters that I think could use some love. We don't really see them very much, or characters that I think would add a lot of utility to the game because maybe they are a 3-star that is used quite a bit, but they're only used for a very specific purpose, and being able to give them that specialty change could potentially break them out into many other things. Now, we have gotten quite a few specialty changes, with Doris being one of the ones that is coming up, which made me think, man, what other characters would I like to see have a specialty change? And the first one up, and these are in no particular order, they're just going to be as I go through the list. The first one up is going to be Taranor Guard. Now, a lot of people use Taranor Guard for Wyvern 13. He brings a lot to the table: the dual attacks, the defense break on the S1. You can put him with a junkyard dog in order to apply extra debuffs. Now, the thing is when you're using him in Wyvern, you really don't use his S3 at all. You just turn his skills completely off. Now, this guy is one of the premier Wyvern characters, and I think with all of the amount of time that he has put in on Wyvern, that this boy should get a little bit of love. I would like to see maybe something that gives him extra debuffs, or maybe something on his S3 that makes his debuff a defense break unresistible. It would bypass effect resist. This way you have that guaranteed debuff, maybe the guaranteed defense break on Wyvern, making it a little bit easier for newer players or mid-range players to get themselves in and have a more stable Wyvern comp so that they can do things along those lines. Now, I know that it does pierce the enemy and decrease combat radius, but adding maybe a, a debuff on here that ignores effect resist would help out, especially considering it is 4 turns. This isn't going to make or break it. I don't think that that would really hinder it too much, but it would very much help out a lot of players. Not only that, maybe doing something else on his S2 with the dual attack. I mean, as it is right now, it is really, really cool, right? Increased dual attack chance by 5%. This can go up to 10%. You pretty much almost come up to cap just by having this and a unity set. You are going to increase your combat readiness, and you're going to get increased attack if the dual attack is triggered. So I mean, just in general, he has a really very cool kit. Just would like to maybe see something else different. I would like to see what they would do in terms of his armor. Maybe give him like a cool Wyvern Slayer type armor, something along those lines. I think it would be pretty interesting for them to go along the lore of him just being a Wyvern Slayer. Now, I think one of the other ones that would be cool would be the Otilly specialty change. Most people don't know what she does in general, other than have a really big light halo behind her and look like a bootleg version of MASH from FGO. Now, her S1, unhealable, really doesn't do too much else, right? Unhealable for 2 turns. The big thing here is her her passive S2, and this is going to make sure that you are receiving less damage from AoE targets. Now, one of the things that they could do is give her a specialty change that focuses on this. Maybe when everybody gets hit by an AoE, it gives a shield, or it CR pushes, something to make her more anti-cleave, especially for like a newer player, somebody coming up in the mid ranks. Cleave is really big. Not only that, but even in a later game, you have a lot of bruiser cleave. You have a lot of characters with cleave. You could put this with like a Spectre Tenebria, something along those lines, to reduce and keep that character safe. Her S3 also is going to decrease combat readiness, silence, and unbuffable here. And really the big thing with her, I think, is a lot of people, if you do build her just for the 30% AoE damage reduction. Now, if you pair her with like an Eaton, for example, this is going to be a lot of damage reduction and a lot of damage soaks. So those two alone can really help out when you're going up against Cleave. She works as a much bigger adamant shield, and Eaton works as a really big Arius. Without the increased defense, right? So a specialty change with her, maybe focusing on being that support damage reduction character, especially interesting for a mage, right? Would be a really nice one. Not only that, but I've always enjoyed her, and I want to see something come around with her. Now, the next one up is going to be, and this one could be a little controversial, but I want to see a Kiris specialty change. I like poison. I don't like the fact that I have to cheese Abyss with her, but the Abyss Queen herself, Kiris, it would be interesting to see maybe something else happen with the poison, maybe something that you could do a little bit outside of the just Abyss, right? Just the harder floors that you're going to need to use her in order to poison cheese through things. A lot of people have built her up just for poison cheesing through Abyss, so maybe having something along the lines of, you know, if an opponent is poisoned, she can do something else. Maybe a synergy there with the poison. I don't know how you would do that. I just think that it would be interesting to see her do maybe something a little bit more outside of that, since, like I said, a lot of people have invested into her. We have already gotten the Wanda specialty change, or else that would have been somebody that I would have suggested. It does seem like they're going to go through a lot of the Banshees, right? And we already got the Pearl Horizon. I feel like my next one I would like to see is maybe either a Gloomy Rain or a Requiem Roar. Maybe do Gloomy, or do Pearl, did Pearl, maybe do Requiem, then Misty Chain, then Gloomy Rain, and then finish off with Carmine Rose. I think that that would be the way that I would want to go there. That would be kind of a good back and forth, right? I think for the next one, I would say a Kicker Rat specialty change, but Kicker Rat is a semi-limited 3-star, right? So I think for the ones that I would like to get would be a Hurado specialty change. I do think a lot of people kind of sleep on Hurado. It would be interesting. He's already a very, very strong stripper, but I would like to see God Hurado come into his stride here. He does attack all enemies with dark magic with an 80% chance to dispel all buffs before decreasing combat readiness by 15%. Maybe do something here where it does something else. I mean, I think that this is actually kind of fine because you do get it up to 100% and it is more combat readiness. The S2 is actually really good here for the damage reduction, and the S1 is just a silence, but the silence is pretty good too. I would like maybe something else here with the S2, maybe something where if the enemy team heals, he steals a little bit of that healing, so it is reduced, and it would be interesting to see if to be able to heal that way. He can kind of steal a little bit of that, and you hurt yourself by healing, you heal less, and you heal the team. It would make a little bit of an interesting thing in there. Unfortunately, I do think that at the moment, his kit's actually a little on the stacked side. Any tweaks up would be really hard for him, but I would like to see it. And my last but not least, most wanted specialty change. Actually, I have two, so we're gonna. I lied. There's two that I want. We're gonna go with the most wanted and then the second most wanted. My most wanted would be Mursa. Now, I don't know what you could add to her kit. She is almost perfect as is. Maybe just a little bit more in the way of stats, maybe add something else onto her S1. It already does a decent amount of speed or damage, and it decreases speed. Her S2 gives her the 50% passive and increased speed, and her S3 does silence. Not that a lot of people build too much in the way of effectiveness on her to take care of that, but it does a lot of damage when soul burn. Maybe giving her something like a passive lifesteal on the S1 or even the S3 to kind of help keep her alive. Maybe have something where I don't know. One of the problems that I feel like that she has is a bit of her survivability because she has 3-star stat line. If you do get hit through, sometimes even through a miss, you have to build her a little bit on the tanky side in order to not just get instantly destroyed. So there is that. So it would be kind of nice to have something that helps out a little bit more with that, even if it's just more stats, even if it's maybe like, you know, a chance to, a lot of the things that, you know, you would think you could put in there would probably put her on the borderline of overpowered. Something that I think would be kind of interesting, because she is a treasure hunter, is maybe some sort of buff steal. I think that that would be a very interesting mechanic to take away from just being only on ML Rin and put that onto maybe some other characters that it kind of fits the lore, right? But she is one of my favorite characters, and even though I think that a specialty change would make her just ridiculously overpowered, I'd still like to see one, right? And then for my second most, it's gonna be Gunther. And again, I don't know what you could do to him, but I would love to see maybe Gunther get a specialty change, and then he just gets 2 axes. Maybe make it so that you know, the passive chance to not be crit extends to the rest of the party, not at the obviously the level that he gets, but maybe like a 15% chance to not get crit onto everybody without the restriction of not being able to crit as well, right? I think that that would be pretty solid. Your 15% chance isn't going to be ridiculously overpowered at all. Obviously, DN's buff and Shu's buff have shown that one, but I think that that would be really good. Maybe add another bleed to the S1 or turn the bleed to a burn. I much prefer burns over bleeds, but that's just me, though that might be a little bit busted with the amount of attack that he can get. You could also potentially, because Gunther does so well with the Uberius Tooth, maybe add that in on one of these, not at the level that Uberius Tooth is at, but you could have something where if you soul burn the S3, you get an Uberius Tooth like extra attack on top of that. So those would be the and I lied in the video title, these would be the 6 characters that I would really like to see a specialty change for. Now, I know that there are rumors of like a Rima, Nemesis specialty changes. There is also kind of an Easter egg type deal where the Kiris specialty change could be a thing. There's a lot of rumors out there, right? We've been talking about a Rima Nemesis specialty change for a long time. I also feel like maybe a Jenna and Eject would be good as well, but we'll see. But those are my top specialty changes. So what I want to hear from you, who do you want the next specialty change to be, and what do you suggest would be the specialty change that they would get? What would it do? I want to hear from you down in the comments, and some of the better ones that we get, I am going to forward over to the CM team, to forward over to the devs, because, well, that's something I want to start doing. So if there are things that you really do want to see, let me know. We can discuss it in the comment section, wherever we need to. And I am going to start sending a lot of this stuff over to the developers and the community managers and things along those lines, because they really need to hear the voices of the community and some of the ideas. Maybe we'll get some of these ideas out there. But as always, if you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to. If you don't, that's fine too. But if you do subscribe, hit the bell notification so that YouTube actually lets you know when my videos are live. A lot of people have been saying, hey, I didn't even know you put out a video. Well, there is that. There's also the Discord, which you can join down below. I do have a Patreon too that you can join for some one-on-one time with me, or if you just want to help out, all the Patreon money goes right into the tournaments and everything that I run. But you can also help me out by, like I said, commenting down below, sharing this out to various groups, to people, because that helps me beat the YouTube algorithm. I know I say this every time, but the algorithm has been kind of boning me a lot. So I do really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy, homies. Peace.
Naki.